welcome to episode 4 of The Nooniverse. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Tristan.
We're going to start the show with our drama rundown, as you guys are all aware of now. I put down Search WW as Tristan knows, because so first of all, as I said in the last episode, in the last segment, I've been reading a lot of BL and haven't really consumed a lot of media and visual media. And so I picked up a couple of things that I've just kind of had on my list because Tristan knows I'm new to Thai BL, so I haven't done a lot of series. So there's a lot of stuff that I haven't seen, guys. So I haven't seen Oxygen. I hadn't seen Gen Y, Two Moons, a lot of series that are Thai, because I tend to stick to the Taiwanese series because I do like them better. But I ended up this weekend going through really quickly. I watched Two Moons, the series, and I watched Gen Y, the series. And I unequivocally fell in love with Kimin. And he took this place in my heart that I was pretty sure I only had room for up. But Kimin has this place in my heart now. And I'm all about that smile. I don't know what it is about Kimin other than that smile, but it is lights up the room. So if you haven't seen Two Moons or Gen Y, Kimin and Copter are absolutely the reason to watch them. I have not watched season 2. I think that's a Tristan thing, right?
Yeah, so Two Moons 2 completely revamps. They get a whole new cast, and they start the first 5 or 6 episodes kind of recaps in a different way everything that happens in Two Moons, and then moves on finally to more story and more of the secondary couples.
So what I understand from the Pink Milk subs is that this is based on a book, which I would eventually probably like to read, but the everybody kind of expected, according to the subs, again, that I'm just taking YouTube comments, they kind of expected that there was going to be a totally different cast, because if you don't know, SB5 are kind of the whole cast for Two Moons. So, I really enjoyed it. So I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to take up too much time gushing about Kimin and his smile,
which I've been listening to for 2 days straight.
Guys, I can't stop watching Kimin videos now. Him and Copter has these dimples. I don't know what to do with myself with men and dimples. I've never been so attracted to dimples before in my life until I've seen Copter on video with Kimin and these dimples, and Kimin at one point in one of these videos pokes at them, and I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to poke Copter's dimples. I'm sorry, he's too cute. So as a really short, the reason I'm kind of putting them together, the two series that I've watched, Gen Y, the series, and Two Moons, is basically they're the same story. The names have changed a little bit, but everything is basically the same. I want to make a comment here that I think Tristan kind of expects. Peepaw in Gen Y is manipulative and took Thanu's thunder immediately, and I have no respect for him whatsoever. I don't know if that was intentional for Gen Y, if they were trying to do a different story than Two Moons. I do not know.
I mean, yeah, so they're not the same stories. They kind of coincide with the same kind of character developments a little bit, and you get a lot of the same names, but they classify it as they are not the same.
So it's really funny if you haven't seen Gen Y, because Kimin plays Mark and Copter plays Kit again, actually. And
same name, yeah.
They have this. Kit has the same name, but they are both the same. They're both in college. One's in medicine, one's in engineering. So the story is very similar. In my opinion, Gen Y is better. I really enjoyed Gen Y. There wasn't any problematic scenes. It's a lot like Fish Upon the Sky. I was just saying that to Tristan tonight. It's just fun, cutesy, you can turn your brain off and watch it, which is, in my opinion, the best kind of series. I will say, however, for Two Moons, and again, I'm kind of putting them together because they're very similar with the same actors. Bass is adorable. I really do like Bass, and Peepaw is so much better in Two Moons. Whoever that actor was, he's fantastic. And I really enjoyed his interpretation of Peepaw much better than the Peepaw that we got in Gen Y. So there was that. The last thing I want to say about my couple series is if you haven't watched anything with Kim and Copter, I would start personally the way that I did it. I would do Gen Y before Two Moons. I much preferred Gen Y over Two Moons. I'm going to try Two Moons too. We'll see how that goes because Kim and Copter aren't in it.
And what's the point? You're already going to be disappointed because they're not in it.
What's the point if Kimmon's not there?
Two Moons 2 has Pavel, so
I don't know these names. Again, I'm brand new, so don't kill me, but I don't know this name, so I'm sure he's adorable. But Kimmon's smile just lights up an entire room. It like takes his face and just it's all over the place, and it's so good. So I would recommend Gen Y. Two Moons was adorable. It's another really easy series. So as a closing statement, Gen Y is about Kim and Copter as the main couple, and then Two Moons is about Bass and whomever it is that plays Peepaw. So, you have two totally different stories, which is why we say that they're not the same, but they kind of are. What did you watch, though?
So I binge watched a Chinese series on Viki called My Little Happiness, which...
Oh, that's right. The 30-episode one, right?
It's about 28, I think. And I was looking for something that was very lighthearted, didn't really have a lot of deep story to it because I just wanted to shut my brain off. And this was the cutest storyline that I have ever seen. It's about a girl who wants to become a lawyer and a guy who is a neurosurgeon, that they knew each other when they were kids, and she saved him from being bullied because he was overweight. And she ends up having to move away when they're young, and they promise to meet each other again. Well, years later, she becomes an intern lawyer at the hospital that he's working at. And he knows who she is, like recognizes her, and she has no clue. Like, it just does not register with her that it's the same guy, because she's thinking, oh, well, when he grows up, he's still going to be fat, He's not. He's tall and gorgeous.
And gorgeous. And that's how that happens.
And gorgeous. Let me just say, the height difference between them is so cute. It's like 2 feet. Is adorable. But most of the series is about him going after her confidently because he's in love with her. He's been in love with her since they were kids. And it is so cute. There is nothing problematic in their relationship whatsoever. So highly recommend it if you're looking for something just lighthearted.
I mean, I'm here for the height difference because, guys, if you aren't aware, Doom at Your Service just started. And what's her name? I cannot think of her name.
Park Bo-young.
Yes, she is super short. So the rumor around Zoompi forums is that she wears platforms in her shoes. We don't know if that's true, but like even just standing next to young strong woman, she was really short already.
But you could tell she was wearing those huge shoes.
So I mean, anytime there's a height difference,
I'm there for it. Yeah,
me too.
Yeah. So highly recommend that if you're just looking for something cute. I also started. I say this because I'm not sure yet if I'm going to finish
She drops series. I have never dropped a series before in my life. I forced myself to finish it.
I can't.
And I hate every minute of it.
Well, I started the Korean adaptation of So I Married an Anti-Fan.
The Chinese version, if you aren't aware, was a movie, and I watched it years ago. I feel like it was really
2016.
Old. Yeah, it's really old. It's really good.
Yeah, well, so not so much the show.
Uh-oh.
So for me, if you don't know about the show, it is about a journalist who gets fired accidentally from her job because she sees an idol not really doing what idols should be doing. It's a whole big mishap. And so she makes it her mission to expose him to the world for being this less than exemplary idol, and ends up being labeled as his anti-fan. And then they get chosen to be on a reality show called So I Married an Anti-Fan, where they then have to pretend to live with each other, and it's their interactions on camera.
The premise sounds good.
Yeah, well, I didn't write any notes under like for this so far.
Uh-oh.
Which is not the greatest thing for me when I got bored.
Right.
And which is sad because so the main girl is Choi So-young, who was in Run On. I loved her in that. Very confident, positive. And it's also got Chun Sung from 2 p.m.
I mean,
me being a fan of 2 p.m. as we're all aware.
We're all here for 2 p.m.
I was so on board with that. And he's the main, like, I guess, villain type person. So I was like, okay, yes, I like the actors that are in it. I will watch this. I don't actually like either of their acting in this, which is
that's sad.
Really sad. And I'm sure there are people out there that like it. That's great. Keep up with it.
That happened to me though. So that happened to me with EXO. I don't remember which member of EXO, but there's been he's been in several Chinese mainland dramas, and like he's just so stiff. And it's unfortunate because like his singing's so good. Obviously that should, translate into I'm kidding. But
see, I've seen Chun Sung in other series before.
So maybe his chemistry with this girl is just not good.
Well, and he doesn't have any they're not
in general
love interests for each other. He's the main antagonist basically. Yeah. And like I've seen him in What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. He played the guy that lived on the rooftop.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's good in that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he was also in My Hollow Love. And I really enjoy his acting. And so far, I do not like his character in this. And not character-wise, it's just him acting as this character.
That's a bummer.
So we'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed that it gets better. Again, there's only 4 episodes so far. So I'm going to try.
I mean, it's such a new series that it might just need to pick up steam.
Yeah. And that's why I'm going to keep trying it. I don't like automatically dropping something unless it's law related.
I'm going to knock her out. Just watch.
But I'll keep up with it. Hopefully it'll get better. But we'll see.
So when we're talking about, we have a whole segment with Lovely Writer that we're actually going to do last. We're going to go right into History 4 first because there's a couple of segments in here that are going to be really heavy. And I want to pre-apologize for my heaviness, but I feel like
she's going hard in this episode.
It's true. And I want to apologize. That's why I say, I want to apologize because I'm going to be really upset. Not angry upset, just bummed upset. So I want to start with History 4 because at least there was a lot of good things that happened in History 4. The sweetness, obviously.
I mean,
yeah, the sweetness was really good. But didn't you feel like it was kind of a filler episode, like a little bit, other than the parts
of it
with the 2 stepbrothers?
I mean, so you get the confrontation with the father finally. Right. So I feel like that was the lead part in this.
Yeah, but Young Jae again overtaking whatever his brother said and going to the father first.
My thing about him doing that though is he's doing it because he doesn't think that his lover, brother, whatever, is going to be able to stand being the one to do it.
So I thought that too. I really legitimately thought that it was a protection thing for Young Jae because I don't know that Shing-si is the type of person that could have handled his father's rejection, honestly.
No. And so the mom, of course, is being very supportive, even though the father feels like she's backstabbed him because she's known all of this stuff. But I did like the scene where they were all 4 talking and Young-jae takes his hand and is holding his hand and visibly supporting him while they're having this discussion with the father about being together. It was heartbreaking at points because I was just like, I really want all the support. That's all they need.
Yeah.
And I can understand where the father's coming from because he's watched both these guys grow up, and
I get the feeling that they were really young when their parents married.
I want to say Shing-si was in middle school.
Yeah, I legitimately think that they were younger when
maybe
when
high
parents...
school. But yeah, like they were. So yes, he was able to watch him grow up, and it's always hard when you have a kid that comes out as gay because you don't want that hardship for them,
right?
Which eventually there will be none, and we will all live in harmony,
right? I mean, and that's what not to skip to Lovely Writer, but that's what Gene's dad was basically trying to tell him, that he doesn't want him to have to go through that, basically. And I feel like that's a lot of the feeling for the History 4 parents, especially young GA and Xingxi's dad. I just don't think he wants his sons to have to go through any of that personally. I did like the breakup of the comedy breakup of the series, although it was at the beginning, the lube scene. Like, I liked that they broke up this episode from the heavy-handedness of the last episode and before the heavy-handedness of the end of the episode.
So I think, yes, there was a comedic factor with the ordering the lube and the condoms and getting them delivered, but it led to a very sweet conversation between Murong and
Tang Tang and Li Chang.
Thank you. About what their expectations are and slowly moving towards being together physically. I thought that was a lovely scene.
Yes. No. Them on the bed where Ling Chang just basically apologizes to Tang Tang like several times. Like, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that's what it was. Like, that was a great scene. Also, I'm just going to call it, Tristan and I called it this episode, I think. It might be the last episode, but I have a feeling it's going to be a switch situation with this couple.
Yes. I mean, that's more of a hopeful situation in my brain. Yeah. I think they would be a good switch couple.
Yeah, and like I've said before that it doesn't really matter to me. And it doesn't, but the reason I bring it up is because the series places so much emphasis on who's going to be on top and who's going to be on bottom for Li Chang and Tang Tang that I just want to throw my thing in my towel in and say, I really think that like the boys might just be switches or it may never come up again. And they may just say, and I like how I like especially how they commented like, we love each other. It doesn't matter. Right. And that's what I want more of in my Boys Love series. I don't need to know who's top and bottom. This goes back to that comment I made about Together With Me and them drugging knocking corn. I don't need to know who top and bottom is. To me, it matters more like that they love each other. That's the only thing that matters. And I like that History 4 pushed that really hard and they've made it really interesting. I almost think it's kind of a backhanded comment to fans. I could be wrong,
I mean, it could be. I appreciate the fact that both of them seem very willing to give what the other one wants.
Yes. Give and take. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Now, History 4, if you can get through some of the weirdness for History 4 and the Step Brothers thing, I am really enjoying it. History 5 is on the books. Apparently, they've already commented in Twitter that they are going to do
happening, it. Yes.
We're hoping that it's going to be a second season of MODC. I think
that's what everybody wants it to be. And I think with the characters coming into History 4, there's more of a chance of it.
Right. And so if you don't know what MODC, I'm going to stop using acronyms, I swear. But if you don't know what MODC is, it is History 2?
History 3. Make Our Days Count.
Make Our Days Count. So don't binge watch that one, guys. If you have not seen it, do not binge watch that one.
Make sure you have support with you.
Make sure that you have a support person with you on that one. So this is where I'm going to get a little heavy-handed. I want to make a comment. I want to start off with saying that I am not the arbiter of Muslim religions. I am not the arbiter of knowing what's best for the Muslim people. I am not the person that you should go to speak about burqas and kurtas and any of that culture because I don't know any of it. In fact, when I watched Fish Upon the Sky, the first time I watched it, both Tristan and I, right? We thought that scene with Doohan, that whole skit was strange with the kitty gang.
Yeah, so what she's talking about in episode 4, I want to say, Doohan has this cockeyed plan to distract to distract Mork so that P and Nan can ride home together. And his plan involves them dressing up in disguises that are very racist.
Yes. And again, we want to comment that we are not the arbiters of what you like and what you don't like. And we're not the arbiters of, that kind of culture. I literally had to look up a lot of things and find out for myself what it meant and how it was racist. And I'm of the mind that if the culture that it includes thinks that it's racist, it's probably racist. If you're offending somebody, like, it's probably not a good way to do things, right? So I want to say that the skit for me was a miss. I was not impressed by it. And I don't know if I even commented on it in the last episode because it was just strange and I didn't find anything funny about it. I am 100% bummed that Neo and Lewis were a part of it. That is not what I would want for. Well, Lewis wasn't really a part of it.
Not really. Yeah, because he wasn't actually dressed up.
Tommy, Jimmy. I don't know names. I'm so bad with names. The Kitty Gang.
The Kitty Gang. I only know it's either AJ or CJ. AJ or JJ. It's one of the twins.
That's what it is.
I can't remember off the top of my head which one it is that's in the Kitty Gang, and I don't know the other guys' names.
Yeah, so it's a bummer to me that they were involved in it, and GMMTV is the director of Fish Upon the Sky. Didn't handle this well. And I'm not going to go into a diatribe about it, but did not handle this well. I am bummed for them that they included it. I am happy, however, that episode 5 totally moved past whatever happened.
I'm wondering, because this is based off of a novel, right? Assuming.
It is, but
in the novel.
So I was just going to say,
yeah,
hold on that thought.
Okay.
The reason I say hold that thought is because there are 2 versions of the novel according to Wattpad.
Oh.
Apparently, the series has changed from what I understand, and correct me guys if I'm wrong, but the television show has changed a lot of what's in the novel. And so either they updated the novel or there's 2 translations of the novel or something. So I couldn't actually tell you if it's in the novel. The one translation that's coming that's in English that we would be able to read is trying to keep up with the show only in so much so that it doesn't spoil anything. And they do not have up to this part. So I'm wondering if it's in the novel at all.
It'll be interesting to see novel-wise if they keep that, if it was in there, because it just seemed an odd choice.
It was odd. Very, very strange. So that's my soapbox for Fish Upon the Sky. And it's
okay.
It's
she has another one.
I have another one later. Don't worry. If you're super sad and you just want to hear me bitch, then don't worry. There's more coming.
But there are a lot of things that we liked about Fish Upon the Sky, because we did get to watch episode 5. Yay, Fridays.
Yeah, thank goodness. And everybody needs, and again, save for that awful skit, I really do still firmly stand behind the fact that Fish Upon the Sky is really good, and it's something that you can watch and again turn your brain off and not have to worry about it. But let's talk about episode 5 and P and his adorableness, because I'm here for P acting like a child with Mork like 100%.
Well, so at the end of episode 4, we finally got a confession. I say finally, like it was too soon. Yeah. But we got a confession from Mork to P saying that he finally liked him, And then we get the scenes where he accidentally left I say accidentally. Are we sure it was an accident though? He left his phone in the car.
No, I'm pretty sure it was an accident. I don't. The only reason I say that is because the scene,
the text messages.
Yeah, I just don't think that Mork has any intention of telling P that he's the guy from the other faculty.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. But then we get P's imagination on
yes, please.
Mork being in his bedroom, which then turns into not having underwear. How does that translate into that?
So I don't really care for toilet humor. We've talked about this, and we have not talked about it on the podcast, but we have talked about it separately from the podcast. I'm not a big fan of toilet humor, and I don't doing stuff on the toilet with Mean is not my cup of tea. Not at all. And for some reason, Doohan needed to borrow 2 pairs of P's underwear, and everything else was dirty, and so he had to go commando, and apparently had to then, spend every other step moving his pants around.
Yeah, I don't need to see anybody reach up and try to get their pants out of their butt crack.
Yeah, I don't even Puin, who I think is adorable. And just because I think he's adorable, I just don't want to see him pulling his pants out of his butt crack. Like, I get it, it's toilet humor, and it's just not my thing. I'm an old lady. That's what it comes down to.
But at least in this part, he has to borrow Mork's
that made
lab
it worth
coat,
it. Yeah, because
with his name engraved.
Because Doohan stole everything from him. Not only did Doohan steal,
because Doohan's a liar,
yes,
and he has to prove to mean that he is this dentistry.
First year.
Yeah,
that's so sad. I do not like the lying to Mean. I'm gonna say it right now. Makes me really sad that he's lying to Mean, because Mean is adorable and needs to be protected from Doohan.
But afterwards, P being in Mork's jacket gets a lot of attention because everybody is thinking that he's with Mork now, and why is he wearing his jacket? They must be boyfriends, which leads to a very heartbreaking scene of them, well, P dragging Mork to confront the Yowie girls, saying, you need to delete all your posts and your pictures because we're not together like that. And you can just see how sad Mork is to
it's so
say
sad.
Yes, it's not true.
Don't worry, Pond. Like P loves you and it's okay, but like it's such a sad little scene because Mork is obviously distraught that he has to stand there and lie to these two people about his feelings for P when it's obvious that he does like him. So I was not a fan of that scene and Mork's little heartbreak right there. So I do think that the series redeemed itself with Doohan and Mean when Doohan finds the, what is it, gecko? Yeah, it was a gecko. He finds a gecko in his sheets, and he runs to Mean and jumps in Mean's arms. That was my night. Like, that made that part and the cheek touching in this episode.
So I was about to say the library scene was my favorite. So I've talked about this with you. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the podcast. Is a man with the confidence to know what he wants and to go after it is the most attractive quality. And
that is Mork. And Mork knows what he wants, and it's P. And it's adorable. And he touches P, and the way
his cheeks. He touches his cheeks.
Sorry. A girl can dream. And like Pond is a really emotive in this episode to me, especially in that scene. He looks at at P, and you can just, he really emotes the emotions of his character, and it's really good. And for actors that are so young and being some of their very first series, it's such a great scene. Last thing I want to say before we end this segment is the preview for that next episode. I mean, don't worry. Like, I will, to be that creepy old lady again, I will take care of P, and nobody has to worry about him. I will take care of him.
Mork is going to do that. That's his job. It's okay.
So sad. I will take care of P and his freckles, every last one of them. There's only 2, but I want both of them. And he's adorable. And I'm super looking forward to episode 6 because in my mind, that conversation that he has with Nan at the table outside is Nan telling him, you only want me because you see me and think I'm pretty and you're obsessing over me, and it doesn't have anything to do with real feelings. That's my take on that scene.
Which I think Mork already mentioned. So when he's holding P's face with his hands, he tells him, I don't think you don't like him.
No, that is correct. He's like, and even if you do, I will make you fall for me. And that's the best line of that episode. So let's be real. Fish Upon the Sky, it comes out on Fridays on GMMTV. Again, it's a YouTube series, and if you're not watching it, you're really doing a disservice to yourself. It's such a good series. Puin and Pond are adorable. Puin is only 17 again, so I have to be very careful with my comments about his freckles. I've been careful though, right?
I mean, comparatively from what I've heard you say before.
See, I've been careful about my comments about Puin and his freckles. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, the sad thing is I'm gonna make her wait to watch episode 6 because
and that's the one that I need too.
I know. Sorry.
That's the one that I need.
Life happening.
So I do want to move on to Lovely Writer. we are extending our what are you watching kind of into our conversational next piece, because we want to talk about everything that's going on in Lovely Writer. And there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, we totally just chucked out what we had written for this episode because Lovely Writer is taking the front seat to this.
Because everything leads back to what we talked about in episode 0, where we hinted at the toxicity that's in the boys' love genre, especially in Thailand more than in other places. Although I have mentioned, I think, about the crap that Sam's girlfriend has gone through with making a cover of one of the OST songs of We Best Love. So it does affect Taiwan, just not as bad, because the difference is Thailand pushes it so hard and has an industry that's specifically for boys love, which is why when people tell you to get into boys love, like when Tristan told me to start watching what I'm calling live action boys love, because I don't know what else to call it. You know, again, as you guys are probably aware, I started with manga and then with anime and OVAs. I'd never watched anything that was live because it was always just hinted at in series, right? So Thailand is the major player for boys love series. And unfortunately, what that means is they have a very big industry that likes their ships a certain way and likes their actors to do things. And I'm going to lead into what I've already talked about on one of our episodes, and I'm not going to talk about Max's dick this time, apparently. Even though, you know, whatever, it's fine. I made a comment in our episode 0 that people about Max and Tool, they are the biggest, in my opinion, they are the biggest example of this toxicity that's happened in BL. If you aren't aware, Max and Tool are the main characters in a series called Together With Me. They also did Manner of Death. What are they called, Tristan? Kings of BL? What is it?
Oh,
there's a
Pillars.
Pillars.
Technically, the GMM guys are the Pillars of BL, but I would put Max and Tool up there.
I want to say like there's some older word or phrase that they use for Max and Tool gets like super pissy about it if you say it, because he's young, right? And he doesn't want to be thought of as old. Tool's adorable, and I'll take him home as well. But
fine.
Oh, sorry, he's apparently Tristan's, and I can't have him, so that's fine. One of the things that I want to talk about is this interview and what happened with Max and Tool. If you aren't already aware, Max, I think, was it after Manner of Death?
Near the end of Manner of Death.
So they were still promoting Manner of Death, and Mook is a star she's a very popular Thai actress, and she posted a photo of her and Max in a bedroom together. I think it was a bathroom shot, right?
Oh, I don't remember.
I think it was a bathroom shot of her and Max and him hugging on her, and she very shortly took it down. I don't know if she didn't realize what she had done, or if she just thought, well, you know, the Manner of Death stuff is starting to die down. It'll be fine if I announce that Max and I are in a relationship together. We do not know how long Max and Mook have been in a relationship together. It's one of those things, again, that I think is none of our business. And it caused a huge stink online. People were really upset. I told Tristan the day after it happened, or the day it happened, I think, I messaged Tristan about the comments on Reddit being super ugly and talking about how, you know, she did it for publicity. She was just trying to, you know, get between them, and a lot of things that I think are totally unnecessary to say about actors in their private lives. And then I found an interview that Max had to end up doing in Thailand. And I just want to read you a snippet of it, because this will give you a sense of how ridiculous this whole thing is, in my opinion. And maybe it's just me that kind of understands what he's saying here. But the question from the interviewer was, are you afraid of the effects of the fans? And this is what Max says. Well, there were comments earlier that Max Tool was a fake couple. I'd like to say that's not true. What happened to Max Tool is that I really love P Tool. It's my relationship with P Tool for the past 6 years that we've been together. He's a very important person to me. What's the front of the camera and behind the camera? We don't change. I see how I look at him as more a relationship. For me, he's family. No matter what, I'm confident that nothing will change Max Tool's relationship. So, just as a side note, I kind of modified it a little. That it's really rough translation, so it's not fantastic. But I read that to Tristan, and she was super upset about it as well.
So my thing is, and I know we've talked about this before, shipping the actors together. Yes, people do it, but there's a way to do it where it shouldn't be end all be all. Like, oh, hey, I like these two actors together. I want to see them in more stuff. I like their interactions together. But don't make it to where they can only be with each other. Like, I don't want them to be with anybody else. They have to be with these person or else it's not a real couple. Like,
we need to be able to distinguish reality and fiction. That's what we need to do as BL fans. And we need to respect our actors' privacy. It is not our right to say anything about their relationships at all. And I told Tristan, one of my biggest problems with Thailand BL is that some of the videos that people watch, I feel like, and this might just be for English fans, right? I'm not sure if it's an Asian thing, because maybe they're more accepting of touchy-feely. I feel like that they aren't. But in America, we have a problem with letting boys be affectionate with other boys. And if we see it, we automatically stigmatize it and say that, oh, well, they must be in a relationship because they're touching each other, they're hugging each other, they're crying. God knows we hear Republicans complain about it enough as it is, when two boys get too close. And I think it's wrong. And I think that's a big problem with Max Tool's videos, is that as Americans, we see it, and because the way that they are together, it's the same, right? It's the same for Kim and Copter, too. Like, I get that same feeling.
So you get this a lot, too, even with K-pop idols.
Oh, yeah.
They live together. They grow up basically together as trainees, so they're very comfortable with each other. And you see their interactions, they're touching, hugging, whatever, and people automatically are like, they're together. Like, back off. Let them just be friends, be in these tight relationships because they've grown up with each other.
Boys have feelings too. So she's joking, but like it's for real though. Kim and Copter have the same thing for them. I would say Tristan made a really great comment today. She said Kim and Copter are like a younger version of Max and Tool. I absolutely 100% am behind that, because they've been in a band together, and you can tell how close they are.
You say younger, but isn't Kim and older?
So technically, Kimmin is older than Max and Tool, because Kimmin's like 31.
31,
but,
yeah.
If we're talking about series in general,
yes,
Max and Tool have been around longer than Kimmin and Copter, but it's absolutely the same thing. When you watch Kimmin and Copter, they are really comfortable with each other. Really comfortable with each other. And I don't think it has anything to do with sexual energy. I think it has everything to do with boys can have best friends and want to touch them and get comforted by them.
Well, so for females, like, we have our friends that we cuddle up with, and you're laying on the couch. Well, let me just lay in your lap or lay on top of you. Like, it's normal. It's normal. There is no stigma to it.
Right.
But then when you see two guys do the same thing, oh no, automatically it's sexualized.
Yes. And I want to comment that I said this before, and I don't know if I've said it on the podcast, but the earlier interviews between Max and Tool were super inappropriate. I don't feel like there was any point where Max or Tool were being possessive of each other. I feel like it was all Tool being overprotective of Max, because the interviewers were completely inappropriate with Max, trying to touch him, get in his space, obvious when he was in obvious discomfort. And I feel like Tool picked that up really quick. I don't know what it is about Tool where he's more comfortable with it, and people have different comfort levels with that stuff. Obviously, we just talked about Off Gun, right? Off does not like being touched by other people.
He says in interviews, like, even just holding hands or touching hands is something that he does not like, and yet Gun's able to with Gunn because they're so close together.
Gunn is all over him constantly. And in fact, like, both Gunn and Off are super, you can tell they're super happy when they get to, like, have that comfort from each other. It isn't, again, it's not a sexual comfort. It's just, I love this guy as a friend and I'm really happy to be with him. And we need to be able to distinguish fact from fiction for these guys, because as fans, we should be better.
And to be fair, a lot of it is promotion.
Yes.
And they are, I'm sure, are told, and we'll get into this with Lovely Writer, they're told that they need to promote their series.
Yes.
They need to be seen together. They need to go out and do the holding, the hugging, but they have to do it in front of the cameras and in front of the fans.
Right. Exactly. And that's where that whole scene from Lovely Writer comes in, where the bigwigs call in Gene, because I'm pretty sure at that point Nubsib was just like, screw all you guys, like, I'm leaving. I'm out.
He was ready to leave the series.
Care.
He wanted to protect his relationship with Gene.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. And so we want to read some of these comments, and we might not get to all of them, which is just a crying shame. But we want to read some of these comments that were translated by Lazy Supper. Is that correct?
Yes. So I found this on Facebook. I followed their, they go through a lot of, it's fan subs called Lazy Supper. If you haven't followed them, please do, because they do translate a lot of text that normally isn't translated on screen.
Yeah, and a lot of these are going to be really similar to things that have happened previously, right? So you are going to hear some of these and they're going to sound eerily similar. That is not by coincidence, I will put it that way. So we're going to start with the pro-oi comments.
Are we calling it oi or a?
I have no idea. We have no idea. It's Bruce.
Bruce.
It's Bruce.
Can we just say A? Because
yes.
It's not. I know it's not A, but A sounds easier because it's from Love by Chance. So I can say A.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, we are not sure. We're not good with pronunciation of Thai names. So one of the pro A comments, one of the first ones says, "I'm so sorry for A. Why does he have to go through something like this? I freaking hate Gene. Why did he steal Nubsib from A? I don't get it. I'm going to stop watching the series. I can't take this." So very similar to what we've literally just said, that, you need to be able to distinguish fact from fiction. These are actors. Again, this is what Lovely Writer is bringing to the fore. They want people to know that, that this kind of thing is happening.
So another one is, why does Nubsib have a boyfriend? Where does his boyfriend come from? What about A? I'm so disappointed. How could you be so selfish? You don't care about the fans' feelings at all. I don't think I can like you anymore. Bye.
I love this one so much.
Your next one?
No.
Or this one?
The
one
one Tristan said, you don't care about the fans' feelings. Bitch, we don't take that into account when we write a series. That isn't how it goes. Take a deep breath. This is a series. It is not real life. And again, as an older woman, I feel like these are probably comments from the younger generation. And that could be why some of them are so disconnected from reality. The next one is, and this is the one Tristan says I love, and it's true. I'm going to soapbox on this one for a moment. It says, the male lead is trash and the writer is a slut. Don't make me say it. I will tell you who's a slut. First of all, First of all, virginity is something that was a made-up term for us making sure that women could be sold as commodities to men. So the word slut is the dumbest expression I have ever heard. Do not slut shame anyone. Number one. Number two, again, these are actors who have real lives and real personalities and real feelings. I'm sorry for getting really angry, but that word is a trigger for me and it makes me really upset. Tristan's laughing because she knows it's true.
It is true. Slut shaming is not okay in any way, shape, or form. And the fact that they need to put their shame onto the actors and the writers.
Exactly.
It's not okay. This one got me because, so the quote is, "How could the higher ups let this happen?"
At least the fans know that that's, so how crazy is it and how disconnected do you have to be to know that it's fake, but also feel that they have to keep this fake ship alive because, the higher ups, because it's in the end, it's a capitalism thing. Like, that kills me. That comment just kills me.
A lot of it. So the agencies practically own these actors. Like, we are scheduling your promotions anytime you do anything, which gets me because A went on live. All these comments are because A went live on Instagram,
right,
crying, and these are the comments that were sympathizing with him.
Right. As an aside, I'm not going to spoil too much because Tristan would kill me, but I read, so Lovely Writer is not translated in full on Wattpad. Most of it's translated. And then the last few chapters are actually summarized. And I read the summary of the last few chapters and they have deviated so much from the book that the Wattpad translators aren't sure if they're even going to get back on the path of what the book is. So for all of you who are reading the book, you may have a better understanding of A, but as far as I'm aware right now,
he's manipulative.
He's
and I
a
don't
manipulative
like him.
jerk and we don't really care for him. I feel bad for him, but I do not care for him. So the next one is, do you know that stealing is a sin?
He's not your man.
Yeah, he's not your man. So that one made me laugh.
Let's see. So the next one is, don't force me to go bad, Nubsib. We made you famous, but we can also destroy you.
What an awful thing to say. People don't seem to understand, too, in the series, Cal's character is only, barely 21 or 22. He's super young, because Nubsib's, 26, right? And I believe that Jean is 5 years younger than him. So he's super young. That is a super shitty thing to say to somebody.
And it's Nubsib's first acting career. Jean's first series based off of anything that he's written. And the higher-ups chose these guys to promote for this series. We did see in episode 1 how, the process of selecting the actors and stuff like that. And all through that, the promotions and getting in front of the fans. And then you see the sides of when Nubsib is taking pictures with Jean versus taking pictures with A, and how the fans are so toxic about it. It's like, oh no, we want pictures of this. We want pictures of this.
Yep.
And you're here to support, not to bring down.
We're repeating the same things over and over again, but the reason is because these are, in my opinion, all of these, and Tristan may disagree, but all of these are just so disconnected from reality. These are either young teens that have been fed bullshit from a capitalistic community that wants to make money off of them, or it's just people who are lonely, which, in my opinion,
seeking attention.
Yes.
So, A's Instagram was seeking attention. These people also feel like, oh, well, this is my time to shine. I can make a comment about something and then have 50 million other people like my comment.
Exactly.
That's what this is. They want to be a part of the disaster that is happening and feel like they are contributing to it.
Right. Exactly. So the next one is, I really want to know what that bitch Jean did to Nubsib. So crazy. Or did you write BL novels because you want a celeb boyfriend? That one makes me laugh too, because like he didn't even want to write.
I was
BL.
about to say, like, he started off not writing BL. It's just that his editor was like, well, this is more sellable.
And this is what we want. And again, this is where the community and the capitalistic bullshit comes into play in this series. They literally just wanted him to write BL.
Scenes.
And they especially wanted those sex scenes because they knew that they could sell them.
So the last one that we have for A's team, basically, it says, he's just a writer. Why does he have so much involvement?
So that's so funny to me, right? Because like Maine was on set of Tarntype the entire time, and literally no one ever complained about the fact that Maine was there all the time. Again, she was a woman, so.
Well, and that goes into, so I just finished watching an American show, Shadow and Bone, and the author of the book that it's adapted from was on set. She cried when she met the actors in costume.
Oh, that's sweet.
And I'm like, we're okay with this happening, like being supportive and being on the screen and sharing insight for the characters, which is why a writer should be on set, because they're sharing, well, this is my interpretation of why I wrote this.
Right.
They should be involved.
Wasn't the writer of Game of Thrones on some of the set? I don't actually remember.
I don't
remember.
think so, but I could be wrong. It's been so long since I've watched that.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember. So we're gonna switch over to the pro Sib comments. These are the people who are okay with the ship, with the fact that Jean, a real person, is together with the main actor of his fake series called Bad Engineer. So the first one says, "My ship is overtaking all ships." So again, though, so I'm grateful. Like I'm the one accepting these comments. That's not what I mean.
Here's your award.
Here's your award. No, I'm happy that people understand that they're in a relationship, but it's weird to me. Don't congratulate yourself over shipping two people. That goes too far too.
Yeah, and this is going back into our conversation of don't ship the actors.
Right.
Yeah. And because in this case, it's the behind the scenes of the actors.
Right.
The next one is, I support Mr. Gene and Nubsib. Stay strong. I can tell the difference between real life and fiction.
So if you have to say that, then you
really
still have
kinda
problems. There's still issues here. The next one is, again, a lot like the first. It says, real ship is better than fake ship. Don't
again with the ship.
Yeah, just don't.
The last one. So there were not a lot on this that were pro Sib, and I think that's because most of the comments were based off of commenting on A's live.
Video. Yes.
So this one, it says, I'm not surprised why Nubsib chose Jean after seeing this live.
So that's not okay either. We understand that A is a bad person here and that he's manipulating the feelings of the community, but it isn't okay to bash anybody. But whatever. It's super the whole episode was really upsetting to me. Tristan and I both had to take about an hour after we watched the episode to just watch K-pop videos and things that didn't include BL because we were both just really upset. We didn't cry, we didn't go overly emotional, but like our spirits were, yes,
very disheartening.
Exactly. My energy was just totally drained after that episode.
We ended up watching ATs on Weekly Idol.
We did because Hongjong is adorable and I want to literally watch him in anything.
And then of course the next day we had to go out and get Korean chicken.
Yeah, and then we got Korean chicken the next day.
But no, this whole episode was so hard to get through, seeing the reality of what actors go through behind the scenes because fans are so toxic.
And this is what I mean when I say that Lovely Writer has almost bumped We Best Love for me. So I think I've said this before. In my favorite series, it's a hard tie between Lovely Writer and We Best Love. We Best Love has the emotional scenes that I need, but Lovely Writer has that story that really like pulls me and really makes me think about everything that's happened in the BL community. And one of the reasons that we wanted to do the podcast is because we want to talk about it in a natural neutral way, because both Tristan and I are older.
She says neutral. We're so biased.
we are biased, and we make a lot of comments here on the show too about, you know, how much we love the actors and stuff, but we understand that these are actors that have real lives, and I really feel like a lot of fans need to take a deep breath, especially a lot of people on Reddit need to take a really deep breath. Take a moment and just think before you speak about these boys and these shows. These are real people, and they may never see your comments, but you should respect people, and it shouldn't, your ships should not get this ugly.
They might not see the comments, but they definitely feel the backlash.
Right.
Because they're hearing it from their higher ups, from
Exactly.
people around them. They're going to hear what's going on and then come out and apologize like what Max did.
Yes.
Because they're going to feel bad for putting their fans in these situations, which it's not that way at all.
Right. Exactly. So last but definitely not least are the neutral comments that I feel like these are all things that we've already said. I'm going to read my 2 really quick, and then Tristan's going to read her 2 real quick, because these are things that, you know, we have said already in this segment. One of them says, "It's real. BL fans, please pull yourself together. Don't forget to respect the other party." And then the other one is, "You're just an imaginary ship, not a real couple."
Yes, talking to A.
Right. Right.
So then my 2, it's showbiz, you know? Because you have to distinguish that
Exactly.
you shouldn't have to. And then talking to A, your act deserves an Oscar.
Yes. So, and that I feel like goes back to A, manipulating the community into feeling bad for him, which I don't really want to cause a stink. I kind of do, but
She does.
I kind of want to make a comment here that I'm not sure if this is a throwback to art. I actually don't know. I was not a part of, as I've said, I was not a part of the community when What the Duck came out. And I don't know anything about new art. I know very, very little. And I am one of those people that, you know, as I've said previously, I don't do real ships. So I don't know what has happened between Mew and Golf, and I don't know what has happened between Mew and Art. But I feel like this was a comment about that live with Art. I don't know. I don't necessarily think that it's throwing shade at Art, but I do think that it's bringing out Art's, that it kind of brings out what Art was trying to say about what happened to him. And so I don't necessarily think, again, I'm not throwing shade at Mew, and I'm not throwing shade at Art, because I have no idea. These are real people, and I was not involved at all. So who knows what happens behind the scenes? But I do think that scene was commenting, or at least, you know, kind of throwing back to the Art's live when he cried about what had happened with him and Mew. Now that we've gone on our soapbox about Lovely Rider, I do want to talk about a couple of things that I did like with Lovely Rider. The scene with Gene and his dad at the very end was my favorite part of the episode. I did not particularly care for the "what did I tell you" comment, because that's just much too, like, you know, I told you so, and I'm not a big fan of the I told you so's. But I think for me, probably the best part of the episode was Gene's dad basically saying, you know, this is why I didn't want you to be in a relationship, not because you were with a boy, but because I knew that it was going to be hard for you. I don't want, again, we go back to History 4 and his and Xing-Si's parents. They don't want anything hard to happen for the boys. They want them to live an easy life. And I think that's all parents want their children to have, you know, have it easy. What was your favorite part in this last episode?
So honestly, I'm going to say, and this, I couldn't focus very well on a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because it was such a hard episode to get through. I couldn't pinpoint anything. I mean, I loved the acting, I liked the scenes, but
it was depressing.
It was a depressing episode for me, and
it was.
I appreciate that Nubsib was trying so hard not to let Gene go, and I understand where Gene is coming from with his decision to put the show first, because he wants Nubsib to have that life of being an actor,
Right.
because he knows that's what Nubsib wanted to do. But it was heartbreaking.
Yeah. So in regards to that, Nubsib wants what he wants. And Gene is trying to make sure that everybody in the general vicinity is not going to be affected by their selfishness. However, my thing is, sometimes you have to be selfish, and you need to grab onto some things.
I will say, so it just popped in my head to remember this, is I actually really liked Hin in this episode.
Yeah,
he was getting
bad.
so much shit from the editor.
Bua.
Yeah, about why weren't you there? Why weren't you watching him? Why did you let this happen? And I know he's working so hard on his novel, and he chooses not to tell Gene what to do. It was
Regarding Nubsib, and it was a good scene.
So I will say that part probably for me was one of my favorites. I know we've said it before. Heen was not my favorite character.
Not at all. Neither one of us liked him at the beginning of the series.
And I think this bumped him up for me because he genuinely cared more for Gene than he did for his own well-being with what he wanted to do with getting his book out there.
Right. Yeah, so, this segment has kind of been a downer for me, and I'm bummed that we knew it was going to happen, right? So if you watched the trailer for Lovely Writer, you knew that it was going to happen at some point, and episode 11 is definitely T's kind of climax episode where he breaks up the characters. That's normal for him. So, that's fine. We knew it was coming. I wasn't entirely sure.
Episode 11 curse.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure when it was going to, if it was going to happen at the beginning or the end, but it was completely depressing, and I just really think that fans need to take a deep breath and really think about what it is you have to say about these people, because they're real people, and you should learn to be kind to everyone, in my opinion. So before we end the episode, in other news that's hopefully a lot happier, that's not necessarily related to dramas, we've got some food for thought. Tristan?
So mine, if you're not already following the official Lovely Writer Instagram, they're coming out with the little dragon dolls.
I need one of these. I need 5 of these. I need 10 of these. I need a whole room.
I want all of them. So of course we instantly were like, yes, we're going to buy this. And then ran into international fan issues because wire transfers and stuff. So I'm looking, hopefully they'll get that resolved because I couldn't figure out how to pay for it. But
I need this.
I really, really need these dragons. They're so cute. And I'm hoping they will have an update on how international fans can pay and get these dragons. They are $25.99. And you can get up to 3 per person.
I need like 20 of them.
But like shipping is astronomical.
Right.
Because I think for 2, because we were looking for 2, it's $30 to get 2 shipped.
So which is one of the reasons that we were going to buy ours together, because we just wanted to make sure that we didn't pay per, international shipping. So that sucks, but we're hoping to get that resolved.
So fingers crossed.
And if you don't already know, Lovely Writer, is it Dua Hop? What's the name of the...
Yeah, Dua Heap.
So if you search Lovely Writer, you can find the production company. They're the ones that are actually selling the dragons. So if you're looking for those, they're super cute. It's not pink and blue like the series.
No, it's a cream color.
Cream color. It's a cream color. And
they're smaller too.
Are
they? So there's a little disclaimer on the picture that they are not the same size as what you see in the show. But I'm going to buy it anyway if we can figure it out.
If we can figure it out.
I mean, it is worse than buying those pins from GMM TV.
I could not figure it out.
Yeah,
and then we're
worse.
sitting and doing show notes, and Tristan's like, "Oh, well, I'll just order 2 for us," and she does it in like 3 pages, and I'm like still trying to like figure out how to do all this nonsense on GMM TV's website.
That was a breeze compared to what I tried to go through buying these dolls.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's a lot of international fans commenting on the Instagram post about not being able to pay, not finding out how to do it because you have to do it through international wire transfer.
So dumb.
It was a mess. So I'm, fingers crossed that I will be able to get those because I will be super bummed if we can't figure it out.
Yeah, we need these dolls. I want to have a quick comment because I don't really have a lot to talk about. But Tristan and I, in the first episode, or maybe in episode 0, talked about one of my favorite yaoi mangas, which was a series that's actually still ongoing, believe it or not. It's been around for so long and it's still ongoing. It's called My Love Prize and Viewfinder, or just Viewfinder. It is a 100% non-con yaoi series. So if you have a problem with that, this is not the series for you. I am not promoting this series. I'm just telling you it's one of my favorites. The reason I bring it up is because I was really looking forward to Kin Porsche because it is right down my alley. So Viewfinder is about a mob boss and a reporter falling in love. Kin Porsche is about a mob boss and a bodyguard kind of falling in love. So it's a little different, but it's very similar in very different ways. But if you aren't aware, who was it that originally had COVID?
So from Kin Porsche, it was one of the staff members.
Right, but I want to say that it's been going
who
around.
Started it?
Yeah.
So there was an event. Nanan, I think, might have been the first one that got it, and then Tay.
And then, of course, Off got it.
Yeah.
And once Off got it, I had a really bad feeling that it was going to go around. Not because Off is he sees everybody.
Loves everybody. No, it's been. Once that started, it has just been spreading nonstop
really fast
up there.
And so if you're following Not Me, I am 100% certain that Off series is either going to be delayed by 2 weeks or by multiple months. That's the Off Gun series that was supposed to maybe come out at the end of this year. It's highly unlikely now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. That is getting pushed. I want to say Bad Buddy hasn't even
So Bad Buddy, they had comments about some of the problems with COVID that they were going to have. And then, of course, back to my original comment, the Kin Porsche staff, there are so many people that are in Kin Porsche. If you watch, they've got a whole bunch of videos on Insta that are about all of the actors, and there's like at least 10 plus guys.
Well, you have to think. So that's 3 mafia families,
and that's what I'm saying. There's so many people in this series, and now they've had one staff member that's been COVID positive, and so we don't have any word other than Tristan shared a little snippet that said that they did test positive on the set of Kin Porsche, and so they're having to be very careful.
I think there's one show that I haven't heard too much about because I don't follow it yet, but it's called Love Area, and they're pushing that one did get postponed because of COVID.
Yeah, and if you aren't aware right now, it's spreading like wildfire in Thailand. There's not a lot of articles about it, but if you follow BL communities, everybody is talking about it because it is spreading so fast in Thailand. We're not entirely sure why. I don't know, again, if you know anything about Thailand's political scene, they have a constitutional monarchy, I believe, and a lot of their news stuff that comes out is very hush-hush, in my opinion, from what I can find about what's going on with COVID there. So that's why we don't know what's happening. So if you were looking forward to any of these series, it is likely that Kin Porsche will be pushed back, and we know that Not Me will be pushed back. I'm pretty sure that Bad Buddy is also on that list, unfortunately.
Well, in happy news, Tay is finally out of the hospital. His lung infection from having COVID is cleared up.
Yeah, Off must be like bouncing off the walls.
Because they're best friends.
Must be bouncing off the walls. The only other thing that I want to say is Mook's new series, Oh My Boss, is coming out. I want to end our segment with this. We have several new series that we're going to be talking about.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We have a huge list.
So we have a huge list. So I'm bringing it up because Lovely Writer is on its last episode, And History 4 is on its last episode, although we haven't really been talking about History 4 that much because
we talk about it here and there. It takes a back burner to Lovely Writer pretty much, and now Fish Upon the Sky.
I mean, everything, in my opinion, takes a back seat to Lovely Writer because it's so good. But the reason I am bringing this up is because we have a huge list of what we're going to watch. And I will tell you what is upcoming so that you can look forward to our podcast in the future. And I'm just talking about series that we're going to start watching now. We are, as we have been talking about, we are super stoked for Doom at Your Service. The both of us cannot speak enough about how excited we are. It is going to be a part mellow, part fantasy. If you don't want to cry, I would probably say maybe Doom at Your Service is not your thing. So my understanding is that she has some kind of cancer, and so it's not going to be a happy series.
You know what? I'm gonna watch it anyway.
I'm gonna watch it anyway because I'm super excited. So we're definitely gonna be here for Doom at Your Service, and so I'm Gook's little mole in the corner of his eye because he's adorable.
Yes, please.
And we're also going to start a series that is a Chinese remake, actually, of a series called Clean with Your Passion. Clean with a Passion?
I think it's Clean with a Passion.
Clean with a Passion
Korean, right?
is the Korean version. And the Taiwanese version is
China.
Oh, that's right. It's mainland. So it's clean at your service or something?
No, it's use for your talent. Jeez, we had this.
Use for my talent.
Yes.
Use for my talent.
Nothing about cleaning in the title.
Yeah, nothing about cleaning in the title. So we're about to start those two in the next couple of weeks. Those are going to be the immediate series. We are also looking forward to, in a couple of months, I think it's at the end of May, the Taiwan series.
Oh, Be Loved in House.
Be Loved in House. We're going to pick that one up, and we're really excited about that.
And Rachel doesn't know it yet, but we're going to get her caught up on I Told Sunset About You so that we can watch I Promised You the Moon.
Yes, I Promised You the Moon is the other one. We're definitely going to watch that. The only other thing that I can possibly say that has a confirmed date is My Roommate is a Gamiho. That one's going to start at the end of May as well.
Are we watching Oh My Boss together?
Oh, and Oh My Boss. I even spoke about it, and then I forgot.
Like, I have it up in front of me, so I was like,
no, and Oh My Boss, because I love Mook. I've like binged.
So does Max.
I mean, I can see why. She's adorable, but I binged all of her series really, really quickly.
She goes through them so fast.
So fast!
I sit here and I'm like, I work, bitch. What are you doing?
So, like, she goes through series so fast, and I follow her on Insta because she's just so adorable and funny, and she, like, has, now that they've got a confirmed date for Oh My Boss,
which she was super happy to post.
She's posted, like, a dozen times about this series.
To be fair, I heard about this series last year.
Right. It's been on hold for a long time.
Yes. And I honestly thought it had been canceled.
Right. Yeah. So we were not sure. So the reason I bring it up is because I want to tell you kind of what we're coming up with, and then there's a whole bunch of series that we have on our drama list that have no air dates. If you are interested in watching or seeing what we're going to be talking about on the series, please follow us on my drama list at The Mooniverse, and you should be able to see all of the things that we're watching, including all the things that we plan to watch. So we're really excited about that. Rachel's going to probably freak out when Doom at Your Service is finally watched. This bitch is making me wait another 2 days for it.
Yeah, look, so by the time this airs, we'll have already watched most, like, not most episodes, but a lot of the episodes. But from today's standpoint, episode 1 and 2 are out.
Yeah.
And we're not watching them until Thursday. And it's Tuesday right now. So.
And we haven't even finished. We're going to also kind of watch the lawyer show. Lawless Lawyer? It's not Lawless Lawyer.
Law School.
Law School. Jeez. I'm thinking Lee Jung-gi because in our K-drama group online, we're watching Scarlet Heart, and I'm just always here for Lee Jung-gi. But we are watching Law School, but we probably will talk about it as much as History 4. So if you're looking forward to Doom at Your Service, definitely check out our next podcast. We're never going to be on time with all of these. Like, it'll be several weeks before you hear anything from us.
We don't really have like a set schedule when we do things now because we have lives.
Yes.
And, that usually will take, the front seat for this.
Yes.
We do what we can to get these out when we're able to.
It's true. So we are really looking forward to these series, and we're looking forward to you guys coming and listening to us. So that is the end of our show. Have a good night, guys.
If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe. Want to learn more about the show? Follow the Nooniverse on socials so you can stay tuned for future episodes, special announcements, and much more. See you in the next episode.